So I may not cover it entirely, but I think there are some points that you definitely need to put forward, especially to support your business case. So first of all, I think a key thing is actually saying, do not think you are vulnerable to a cyber incident, because you are. And cyber resilience is everybody's responsibility, so top down. So actually implementing an awareness culture, so people are talking about cyber by implementing the right cyber awareness tool set, means that you have got some level of knowledge when you are presenting a business case. And along with also saying it is a unique selling point. Your tenants will be asking about cyber. Especially with the move to smart enabled buildings and also increasing connected technologies. For example, your building management systems, access control, and you should be able to demonstrate where you are against your competitors and the sector. And then also against accreditations, because we know that we've got new regulations coming. So UK SOC, artificial intelligence regulations, the EU and the US are already ahead on this. And then also being able to do regular testing, scenario planning, so that your exec also have a really good understanding of what the potential disruption to a cyber incident can cause. These all build the case for when you are going to the board to spend money on cyber tools. And then also make sure the cyber is actually on your risk register, so it's talked about at the risk committee. Yeah. Making sure that you're having regular conversations with your audit teams, because if you can use your external audit team to just reinforce the cyber resilience at board, and then also cyber resilience does actually build trust across your partners, your customers and shareholders. If you have those conversations and really build that awareness culture, it just makes it a lot easier to be able to present a business case with money attached to it to build up your cyber resilience.
So this goes back a little bit to the point Andy made about having an ally on the board. Amy, you're sort of expanding that, and we're talking here about allies almost surrounding the board.
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
And I've heard a lot of people say that, all businesses are going to be attacked. There's not a great deal necessarily we can do to mitigate that. It's about how quickly an organisation can respond to and recover from an attack. Do you think that's correct?
Yes, but you still have to get your basics right and build your basics and your awareness, and then obviously how you respond to an incident. And that response is from exec and the tech team. It's not just the tech team.
Yeah. And I think that's a point that's come out a lot during the course of this conversation, is that this isn't just about tech. As you said at the very start of this question, it's everyone's responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
And is it hard to get everybody to recognise the role they play, particularly given the comment Andy's made about not using scare tactics?
I don't think so. I think if you implement the right right cyber awareness, and this is training and conversations, and you are linking it across people's personal life and also work life, you can embed that culture a lot easier, because it does go across both.
Yeah. And Andy, is there anything you would add to Amy's response?
I think not much. I think there's a lot covered there, which is absolutely sound. We have to realise that when presenting a business case for a risk mitigation exercise, which is what it is, it's not always as glamorous and attractive as business cases which do give business transformation or business growth. So it's up against it's competing against some very stiff competition in the glamour stakes. But when it comes down to governance of companies, etc., that's where it does really stack up. When you're talking about regulatory conformities to UK GDPR, etc., that's where it does show its strength of business case when you're talking about compliance and risk management rather than the other types of business cases.
Yeah.
So just a brief recap on the really key points there. I think it's everyone's responsibility. So this isn't just about the tech team. Everybody within the business has a responsibility to mount a defence. Amy, I loved the point, and Andy, you touched upon this, about capturing it as a USP. So using the strength of your organisation's defences as something that helps you win new tenants, win new clients. Proactive regulatory compliance. So Amy, you made the point there about EU and US regulation, making sure that we're proactively preparing for that to come here. And also using that to show compliance in the governance of ESG, which is increasingly important. And then I think the point about everybody's going to be attacked, it's actually how you prepare to recover and how quickly you can recover that is so often key here.
Yeah, definitely.
So I think it can be boiled down in many different ways. I've selected 4 responses, so we'll go through them. I think I would start off from the very top, and that is get back in interaction with your board, because without a visible and practical support or mandate from the top, it's very difficult to enact any change or increase your cyber security. It will be like swimming against an incredibly strong tide. So that's where I'd start as step number 1 in the strategy. Number 2, Amy referenced it. Once you have that top level, you use that to implement a cultural change within the organisation, because it is everyone's responsibility. It can't be just done with protection. People are one of the strongest components in a company's cyber resilience. So change the culture and awareness within your organisation, not just within your organisation, but again, you have to promote it externally. You know, in a company or industry like ours, we are incredibly reliant on externals to deliver a large part of Landsec's overall business model. And if they don't understand the part they play, then that doesn't really change the culture of it. Again, without scare tactics as well, if we can avoid it within the culture, because it really is a carrot, exercise we have to apply, but with a stick behind it as well in terms of policy. So I think those are the top 2. I would then go on to the third part, which is actually making the practical changes. In cybersecurity now, although it's still quite a newish subject to many people, there are some really well-established methods and proven strategies to adopt. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. There are frameworks which provide really good guidance. They're really effective if applied correctly. So things like the NIST cybersecurity framework, which can be really easily found online, Cyber Essentials and Cyber Essentials Plus. These are all really good structures and frameworks to help shape your requirements so you don't have to reinvent the wheel. They help you know your environment, they help you know and document and understand your risks, and therefore you put in the right adequate protection and controls in your buildings, in your corporate environment, in whatever your business is. And I think Amy said earlier on, there's some really well-defined, simple basics, which if implemented well in buildings, are a massive step forward. So I think those 3 with the last point, which is, sadly, as we've said, it's impossible for any company or for any real estate asset to be 100% secure. We need to be prepared for an incident. We have to have a mindset of when it happens, not if. That's the statistics we have to work with. So really make sure you've shaped a response plan for your corporate operations or your property resilience. Do that with your internal IT teams, with your wider stakeholders, your senior execs, anyone in your business around planning, business resilient planning, and your key partners to be ready for an incident as well. So yeah, involve the board, change the culture, don't reinvent the wheel, and just be ready.
Brilliant. Thank you, Andy. Amy, anything you'd add or any different
Yeah.
points you think people should consider?
So I know I've mentioned about getting the basics right, because 98% of attacks actually is because it's some basic good practice that has not been undertaken. The other thing that's really key that I find a lot of organisations don't do, and that is when they have the good practices in place, they don't maintain them, or the products, the security tools. So it's not a case of put it in and forget it. You have to continually maintain your product set. It's the same as you have to continue to maintain and develop your cyber awareness. It is an ongoing process. And then everybody is responsible. I know I've said that before, but it's very key. And then also another item is challenge your suppliers, because they should be following the same cyber resilience that the organisation is also doing. So you really must challenge your suppliers.